Hey guys, how are you? I'm Tom Herbetko, physical therapist and osteopath, and today I'm going to show you a technique that has changed my life. It's a breathing technique. If you've ever heard of Wim Hof, he's a guy that climbed Mount Everest just in his shorts and ran the Sahara Marathon, half marathon, without drinking any water. So he has about 26 world records, and I was curious to try his method. 6 months later, I couldn't tell you not to do it. It's probably one of the best things that I have discovered recently in recent years. I'll explain to you why, then I'll do a little demonstration at the end for those of you who are not familiar with the technique, with the breathing technique. Well, first of all, so one of the first things that I've noticed after 6 months of doing it, and this was just after the first day, was that you really get your happiness up, your joy. So what happens is when you're doing this technique, you're activating some pretty deep core centers of the brain that control the hormonal secretion and so on. So, while doing this, you're actually lowering your depression, and one of the substances that is released is the DMT. Now, the DMT is a really long word, and it doesn't really matter because you won't remember it. But the DMT is one of the strongest antidepressants that exists. Normally, you would find DMT when it's the end of your life, or in some substances like ayahuasca or magic mushrooms that some people take to get this DMT release. And there are a lot of studies now with magic mushrooms and with DMT release and its effect on depression. And these studies are very, very promising. But anyways, you don't need to take drugs. You can actually just do the breathing technique yourself. You might get a little bit of a psychoactive release. More than anything, you might have a emotional release if you feel you've with this quarantine, with the coronavirus, with everything that's happening, that that your emotions are not as balanced as they were before. So one of the first things I noticed was that and if you read any forums about the Wim Hof techniques on the internet, you would see that everybody says they're just basically happy all the time. So that's the first thing. The second thing that's I think is really important now is how it activates your immune system. So Wim Hof likes to get studies done on him. Imagine trying to climb Mount Everest in just your shorts. There has to be something to it. So they've injected him with some things like E. coli and other neuroendotoxins, and they realized that him, and not only him but his followers, compared to the placebo group, they got rid of the evil substances, that we can say. So by activating the core of our cortex, of our brain, of our neurological system, we're actually also helping our immune system. So this is really amazing for the immune system. More and more studies are going to be made, I'm sure, but there are a lot of anecdotes you can see on the internet of how this helped some people. And of course, one of the other things that it does help you is sleep better. Why? Because when you are activating the pineal gland is when you're doing this breathing exercise, you activate the DMT, but you're also activating the melatonin release. Now, melatonin is responsible for you sleeping well. Usually, maximum secretion starts in the evening, and it continues until in the morning you stop secreting melatonin. Now, with all the artificial lights, we're not getting good exposure to basically darkness. But what this breathing does is it stimulates the pineal gland, stimulates melatonin release. So me and my patients, we have discovered that we are sleeping very, very, very well. So I think that one of these So these are some of these benefits. Now, there are many more benefits. I don't think I have to go through the list. I'm happy, I'm healthier, I'm feeling good. Breathing wise too, like sports wise, I'm doing much better because I'm practicing this deep breathing every day, this holotropic breathing with breath retention. So to explain to you how to do the Wim Hof technique, I do every day about 15 minutes to an hour. Depends on how I feel, how much I want out of it. The days I don't do it, and there are still some days I don't do it, sometimes I forget, I have no time, or I just have other things to do. I feel it. So I would recommend doing it every day and doing it in an empty stomach. Okay, you're not gonna get the same effect. You might feel a bit weird because you're doing deep breathing when you're after you have eaten. So I recommend doing it before you have eaten. So let's look at how to do it. There are three times to this technique. The first is the holotropic breathing, the deep breathing, where well, before anything, I would recommend the first time you guys do it that you do it face up, laying down. Okay. Later on, once you get better, you can do it while with sitting and so on. So let's go with the three times. The first part is the hyperventilation. So we're breathing through, coming from the stomach, lungs, in all the way to the brain, breathing in and breathing out with all that you can. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so you breathe in with the relaxation, out with the stress. Okay, so try to, and it's continuous. We never stop this breathing. We just continue going up and down. Okay, then after about from 30 to 40, if you want to get a real DMT release, you can do 60. You can even do it for 45 minutes. There are some techniques where you do it for 45 minutes. That's a little bit different than the Wim Hof. But the Wim Hof normally says 30 to 40 hyperventilation. And then afterwards, the breath retention. So after you breathe in, breathe out. And once you breathe out, hold your breath. Start with 1 minute. You can continue on to 2 minutes if you want, or if each round you do a little bit more. I get up to 3.5 minutes without breathing. Okay, and then after once you get to your limit, you can't breathe anymore. What you will feel is tingling. Okay, that's not bad. That's really good. That means you're actually activating blood in those parts. In that apnea part, in that part of the breath retention, I want you guys to concentrate in everything that's happening in your whole body. Okay, so if you're feeling tingling, if you're feeling relaxation, that's what you want to concentrate on. Be really mindful and concentrate only on that. Do not think of anything else. And then right after that, after you do the breath retention, you take a deep breath and you hold in for about 15 seconds and then breathe out. That's round number 1. 3 parts. You continue. After 3 or 4 rounds, you're going to feel like you're flying. You're in outer space and you're feeling excellent, feeling happy. So let's do one round of Wim Hof. You guys can continue on for later on. So let's start with 30 breaths, deep breaths. It could be in with your nose or in with your mouth. Wim Hof just says, just breathe deeply. Every time breathing deeper. Five more. Two more. Breathe in, breathe out, and hold. At the end of your breath, breathe out. Now in this phase, you might want to close your eyes. You want to concentrate on what you feel. You might feel tingling. Remember, we never do this standing or in water. We always do this or sitting or laying down. At the beginning, laying down. Concentrate on what's happening in your body. You'll feel the blood flow. You'll feel your heart slowing down. If you cannot breathe, you can always take a little breath about your time limit. Try to get until 1 minute of not breathing. Hold for a little bit longer. And then the third part, in about 5 seconds, we're going to take a deep breath in and hold for 10 to 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath and hold. We breathe out. That's round number 1. And we continue this for about 3 to 4 rounds. You can continue for an hour, for 2 hours if you want. Remember, start slow, work up to it, and you will feel automatic miracle cure for everything. I really recommend you guys do this. You're going to really get a high state of meditation, and you're going to feel much, much better. I recommend it to all my patients, and my patients are feeling wonderful, guys. Well, thank you, and I hope you do this daily. So big hug to you guys, and stay safe.